Okay, question 9. Consider the following triangle. ABC has a 90 degrees. The side length of AC is 13, side length of BC is 12, side length of AB is C. So based on the given information, what is the measure of the missing length C? Enter your answer as a number like this. Alright, so first question, is it a right triangle? Yes. So we can use the Pythagorean theorem to solve for missing side lengths if we have two known side lengths. So we do. We have side length BC, which is 12 units, and side length AC, which is 13 units, and our unknown side length is AB, which is represented by C. Now, the Pythagorean theorem is A squared plus B squared is equal to C squared. And I'm going to ask myself, okay, I remember in the Pythagorean theorem that this C has to represent the hypotenuse. So I'm going to ask myself, is this side length the hypotenuse? No, it's not. And since that is a confusion, I'm going to change this to X. I'm not wanting to solve for this being little c because it is not the hypotenuse. Now, since I changed that, I'm going to label this triangle and label the hypotenuse, which is always across from our 90-degree angle. So this side length is the hypotenuse, which is C. And now this could be A and this could be B. So then I'm going to use this equation and use substitution. So A is actually being represented by X, which is our unknown, squared, plus B is 12 units, so 12 squared is equal to C, which is 13 units, and that is being squared. Okay, now I'm going to ask myself, is this unknown X by itself on the equal sign? No, because it has plus 12 squared. So then I'm going to ask, okay, well, how do I undo an addition? And that is by subtraction. The opposite operation is subtraction. So I'm going to minus 12 squared and minus 12 squared. So then we have x squared. 12 squared minus 12 squared is 0. And that is equal to 13 squared minus 12 squared. And because these have squares, sorry if you can hear my children crying in the background, because these have squares, I'm not going to take 13 and minus 12 and end up with 1 squared, because 12 squared I know is 144 and 13 squared is like 156, I want to, or one, yeah, it's higher. I'm drawing a blank on it. Anyways, so I know that it's not going to be 1 squared because 1 squared is 1. So we leave these like this. So x squared plus 0 doesn't change its value, so it's typically written like this. So we have x squared is equal to 13 squared minus 12 squared. Now again, I'm asking myself, well, do I have anything added or subtracted to this x squared, or is it by itself on its own side of the equal sign? Since it's by itself on its own side of the equal sign, I don't have to add or subtract anything to it. It is, however, being squared, so I'm thinking back, okay, what's the opposite operation of squaring? It's square root. They go together. Squared is undone by square root. They both have square in their name. So when I square root x squared, I actually introduce a plus or minus because we can have a positive and a negative version of our answer. So square root of x squared is equal to plus or minus the square root of 13 squared minus 12 squared. So square root of x squared, these undo each other, so we are left with x is equal to the positive version or a negative version of the square root of 13 squared minus 12 squared. When we jump over here to our calculator, we are going to type in square root of parentheses 13 x to the y squared minus 12 x to the y squared, close parentheses, close parentheses. All right, and that equals 5. So x, that distance, could equal the positive length or the negative length of 5. Now I said length because I know I was talking about a triangle, and I'm thinking to myself, you can't have a negative distance. So this answer is x equals 5. So enter your answer as 5. Hope that helps.